Okay, and we are all set to go. I'm gonna join in on this, right on there. Okay. So this is Shantae. I unfortunately don't have much of an origin story for how I came across this game. I kind of compiled a list of games that I wanted to try and narrowed them down. I came really close between this game and Wario Land 3, but I eventually picked this game. And I'm very glad I did. It's perhaps one of the best games I've ever played. I'm gonna boost the volume just a little bit so we can hear the Jake Kaufman tunes. Oh yeah, also this is Jake Kaufman's first big break. Back in 2002. Composing the music for this game. Which is pretty heckin' cool. Excuse my language. So right after a quick swig of aged Earl Grey tea, we'll get started. Can we get a bird eat a LaCroix in the chat, please? That'd be pretty cool. Alright, so we're all set to go in 3, 2, 1. First thing, we see a pirate ship in the distance, and it fires. This is Risky Boots. If you're at all familiar with the Shantae series, you'll know who Risky Boots is. If you don't, she is an infamous lady pirate who is currently seeking something called the steam engine, which Shantae's caretaker mimic has just invented. Unfortunately, her purposes are far from good. So this is Shantae. These fireballs are RNG, or these cannonballs are RNG. Not having very good RNG right out of the gate, but that's okay. You might have noticed I went through one of them. That's because there are 5 scripted balls that are supposed to break the bridge. And they travel faster, and they always come at the same time. And they actually have no hitbox, so you can walk right through them safely. Sometimes they will also despawn the random ones, which is very convenient. Obviously by now this would be a reset in actual PB attempts. But this is the marathon. And we're here for the people. Right off the bat, we're in pursuit of the gal herself. So as a half genie, we have a few special abilities. One of which is to use our hair as a weapon. So we're just gonna do that really quick. And if we play through the first part of the game well enough, we will actually be able to go for a task strat. So far, so good. This first level of the game combines quite a few elements of well-known series such as Metroid, Castlevania, and Mega Man, especially. So right now we are about a half second ahead of where we need to be to get this task strat. And here it is. We're gonna try to jump on these bricks in a very precise way. Ah, we missed it. That's okay though, we got the 1 cycle back up. You see how it works though. It's a little funky because the way Shantae's jump works, she has to stand on a platform for at least a quarter second or so of that nature before she can jump again. It won't come into play very often in the gameplay itself. However, it does affect things such as step stairs like that. Now a bit of plot exposure. The Tinkerbats blew up Mimic's workshop just for the heck of it. Even though they got what they wanted. Kinda rude. But it's okay. So now at least we know what we're after. If we crouch on top of a crumbling platform, it allows us to preserve our run speed, so that will cut down about a quarter second. I'm gonna grab this for safety, since we took 2 hits in the cannonball segment. Hop over these guys right there. Very precise jump. And we are heading into our first boss fight with Risky Boots herself. namely her ship. You actually have to hold down B and then let go of B once the dialogue is finished, and then press it again to skip the dialogue as fast as possible. I save about 20 seconds off of the previous world record based on dialogue skips alone, because I've memorized the dialogue and know where to press B and where to not press B. And we got 7 hits right there. That's very good. You need 10 hits, and getting 7 right there is highly dependent on not just mashing, but where and when you kill these Tinkerbats. Because as soon as those 2 Tinkerbats are cleared from the screen, you are able to damage the gunpowder. Second phase, you have to destroy these gunpowder barrels, 4 per window. And what's weird is that if you get the same window twice in a row, it saves a few frames. I'm not sure why, but it does play a factor. That's the first boss down. We should be approaching the 5-minute mark at this point. And get ready to listen to Mimic tell his story of woe for about 1 entire minute. Right now is the perfect time to go get a snack, use the restroom, grab a drink, get comfy. Because it's going to be about an hour before you have another break like this. Especially with the new strats that I've incorporated. We used to have about 4 20-second breaks in the run. However, we are now able to skip the cutscenes that would otherwise allow us to rest for a bit. I'll explain those skips once we come to them. So that first level was pretty linear. However, from here on out, the game becomes a Metroidvania. So right out of the gate, we're gonna have a choice. Go left or go right. We're gonna go right. Because that's how we advance the plot. Our first open world experience is going to be fraught with RNG. These guys are called dirt dogs, and they can spawn anywhere in a set boundary that they want. That guy almost clipped me. Same thing with these scarecrows. There we go. I used a bit of an audio cue to take care of those guys. Whenever you hear them, it's safe to jump. Just like that. Ah, and there's nothing you can do about that right there. But that's okay, as long as we have 1 full heart coming out of there, we are good to go. And we currently have 2 full hearts, so that is good news bears. Jump over the pit of shame. I have lost runs to just not looking at the game and running into that pit. It's perhaps the most unceremonious way to kill a run. That ain't happening today. Mark my words. It's pretty much impossible to get hurt in this entire forest as long as you just keep holding right. These spiders will shoot at you, but they will not spawn the bullets until they are off screen, if you're going at full run speed. So that's kind of handy. Now for the best/worst part of this first area. Lots of tight platforming. Done optimally, you will get out of this area, this waterfall area, right as the music loops one more time. We are going to cut it close, because my jumps haven't been the most precise ever. Especially if you missed that right there, that's another oof. That's another half-second gone. Gonna go the safe route right there instead of jumping from the higher one. And we lost about 3 seconds there, but that's okay. We're gonna go ahead and enter Watertown. you have to hold down A to go fast in town, because B becomes the talk to people button for some reason, whereas B is the run fast button everywhere else. So we're gonna go ahead and talk to Bolo, or as I call him, Brolo. And it turns out that Risky Boots has already been here. However, she didn't attack, she just wanted directions to the Dribble Fountain, which we passed on the way to Watertown. So Bolo's gonna help us get in there and pursue her. However, before we leave town, we are going to pop into the save room. We don't have to save here, because simply popping in and out of the save room resets your warp marker to that save room. So, whereas we would have respawned in Scuttletown if we'd gotten the game over, we will now respawn in Watertown. And that's going to be very important later on. So, coming up right now is one of the more irritating mechanics, interesting mechanics of the game, which is the day-night cycle. It is now nighttime, which means enemies are 2 times stronger. However, a far more important side effect of it becoming nighttime is that there is a town later on in the game, about halfway through, that you have to reach by nightfall. Because in the daytime, it disappears. And we jumped a little too far right there. That's a pixel-perfect jump to land on that platform without getting hurt by the firefly. And that's why we want 1 full heart here instead of 1 half heart. We can just go through that fish, it's fine. How's it going, Baku? And so now, here we are. Bolo's gonna show us how to get in here. Hey, look at the flick of the wrist, whoop! And this marks the beginning of our first labyrinth. There are 4 of these labyrinths in the game, each of which contains a magical stone. We will find out a little bit later on that that's exactly what Risky is pursuing. So right down here, right at the start, let's see. I'm gonna go ahead and die on purpose to get back my health for safety purposes, and we do actually need to be at around 2 lives, preferably, by the end of this area. So the most important thing that differentiates this run from how it was a few months ago was the inclusion of something called Stormpuff Skips and Squid Underflow. The biggest caveat in incorporating those skips is finding the funds. By the way, that's the only warp squid we're going to collect in the entire game. It misses, it is mommy. So in order to do the skips I am referencing, we need to purchase Storm Puffs, which would require us to collect 25 more gems than usual in this labyrinth. We already collect 60, so the whole area is pretty stripped. Right, 1, 1, 2. There we go. However, a few months ago, I took it upon myself to route out 5 gem drops, which are guaranteed, and allow us to acquire 85 or more gems in this labyrinth, and pick up Storm Puffs on the way over to Oasis Town. Let's see if I can pull off this jump. Nice. Easy every time. So here's our second guaranteed 5 gem drop. Go ahead and take care of these guys as well. Gonna do a bit of damage boosting. One more time right here. Gonna jump up to trigger this fireball a little bit early. And we have a combination of 4 to memorize now, which is 3, 2, 1, 3. That's my shorthand. Just like that. And we drop down. Hopefully we can snap the key in midair just like that. Yes, I just said snab. It's a combination of snag and nab. I'm hoping it'll catch on. Nice drop down. So we're up to 57 now. Which is technically 55. Because we've been getting some random 1-gem drops along the way. Okay, and you do want to be at 3 hearts right here. Unfortunately, this seems to be broken, so we have to go fix it. Ooh, that's bad. We're gonna wait this one out. There we go. And we have to be a little bit careful with this guy as well. We want to be at low health, but we don't want to die, obviously. Not yet. These wetmen, yes, they're called wetmen, are RNG. I actually got really good RNG right there. They can snap their claws between 2 and 4 times before attacking. And they are not vulnerable until they do start attacking. 2-1-2. And also, sometimes they can jump if they want to, which is particularly nasty. And I screwed up. Okay, so I'm gonna have to do a little bit of a backup strat here. What I was planning to do was Death Warp. It's very difficult to hit that guy. What I was planning to do was Death Warp back up to the top of the room once I solved this puzzle down here. However, it looks like we'll have to just climb back up the casual way. There we go. Very nice, precise, pixel-perfect hit. It's okay, it's only like 20 more seconds to do it this way. Nice random 5-gem drop right there. That'll save me some potential pain later on. Also, I really shouldn't have gotten hit there, because that might cause me some grief later on. Alright, no hearts there. Ah well, here's our first transformation dance. Hopefully this will be the only genie cutscene that we have to watch. So watch closely as the genie suggests. It's also our final significant break in the run. So now we know how to dance and become a monkey, which will help us immensely with movement tech. The monkey might be a little bit slidey as far as it controls. However, it jumps higher and runs a slightly smaller distance faster per capita. And it can also climb walls, which is nice. So really this is the main gimmick of the Shantae series, save for select games, of course, is that you can actually gain transformation dances, which allow you to complete tasks otherwise not possible. Good RNG right there. We already have 85 gems, so we actually don't have to collect either of these gem drops, but we will anyway, since we have time. We're gonna go ahead and pick up a safety heart right there. And here's our first labyrinth boss. Right here we learned that Risky Boots is after the stones because she plans to use them to upgrade the steam engine and turn it into a veritable death machine. And there's the quick kill. Nice! I don't think I've ever gotten a quick kill in a marathon before. So that's cool. We're gonna jump up and grab the stone from midair. And there's our first of 4 stones completed. Now it's time for a bit of plot exposure. Here we learn that there are 4 kinds of these stones, each one represents a different element. I just found one that produces an endless supply of water, which is verbatim what Bolo says, so I guess he could have just read the screen if he wanted to. Once again, we're going to do a little bit something different here. Normally we would transform into monkey right here to make the trek back a little bit easier. However, it saves 7 seconds, 5 seconds for the dance and 2 seconds for the transformation, to simply run back as normal Shantae. And here's why. We now enter the Scuttletown town and shop. And you can't enter the shop as Monkey Shantae or any other kind of Shantae besides normal Shantae. So that means we would have to transform into monkey for 5 seconds, over the pit, there we go. And then we would have to traverse these lands. And then untransform into normal Shantae in order to enter the shop again. Gonna be careful here. Good RNG so far. You will always get 3 scarecrows in that leftmost patch of grass. Alright, nice. And we made it with no damage. Let's go. Alright, so here's Scuttletown. Gonna pop into the item shop, purchase some storm puffs, and be on our way. And now we're entering the Naga Wasteland. This is what we would have encountered if we'd gone left first instead of right. However, we would have quickly run into a brick wall in the form of a literal wall that is too high for us to scale without monkey. So this room is very scary with a lot of insta-death spikes. Easily one of the 3 hardest parts of the run for new players. Since we are currently at full health, I'm going to be taking some damage on purpose coming through here. Just like this. And we are now at 1 heart. Coming up is a pixel perfect trick. Hopefully I'll get it. If I don't, that's okay. There's an easy backup. It might look silly. That's because it is. Alright, so we did not get it that time. We have 1 more shot. And we got it. Okay, so that right there is an invincibility glitch that allows us to walk through everything without taking damage. It works because we are hitting 2 hitboxes on the cactus at the same time by whipping our hair toward it and then nudging ourselves ever so slightly closer. It's pretty jank. And unfortunately, it also means that in order to pull off this glitch that I'm going to use these Storm Puffs for, we have to hop into the bathhouse for a second beforehand to regain 1/2 heart of health. Just like that. So this glitch I'm about to do is called Squid Underflow. It works by setting off a Storm Puff and then talking to the Warp Squid and killing yourself during the conversation. Hair whip a few times, and suddenly there's another Warp Squid. We're gonna go ahead and leave and come back to reset the room. And we now have 57 Warp Squids available to us, whereas previously we only had 1. Now, what giving Warp Squids to this Warp Squid mother does is allow us to learn a warp dance, which will allow us to return to this town anytime we want, day or night. This will come in handy 2 more times in the run. Now we're going to pick up 3 exit candies. These exit candies will act kind of like escape ropes, allowing us to leave the labyrinths anytime. We're down to 10 gems, which is perfect. I'm gonna go ahead and talk to Sky over here, wherein we find out that there's a place called the Golem Mine, where we suspect the Golem Stone is, which is the second stone we need to wrench from Risky Boots' hands. No pun intended. Hey, Amethyst. So if you're familiar with the other games, it's been retconned that this bird named Wrench is a combination of a wren and a finch, hence his name. However, in this game, the original game, his name is taken a little bit more literally, and you'll see what I mean once I reach the next labyrinth. I'm gonna damage boost a little bit here. Alright, that was flubbed a little bit. That's okay. As long as I don't flub again, I won't have to safety die. Yeah, these guys can really mess you up. They are RNG. There we go, that wasn't too bad. Okay, and we'll be fine now. So that was the Ladies' Desert. It's far more treacherous and dangerous than the Men's Desert, where we're heading next. I'm gonna get there by traversing the Naga Wasteland a little bit further. And it is possible, and actually relatively easy, to do this next area damageless. So that's what I'm gonna try to do. Now, if it were daytime, I would have used my Storm Puffs to clear the way a little bit and save some damage, just for safety, in the Ladies' Desert. However, since it's nighttime, and all of the damage values are doubled, or all of the hit point values are doubled, it's actually a little too costly to wait around for it. Fortunately, we are now past all of the dangerous parts of this desert, and we are now at the labyrinth. So without even looking at how we could possibly get into this labyrinth, we're going to ask Wrench for help. And he's going to help us out a little bit by being literally a wrench. Ba-dum-tis. Also, right there, that illustrates that the day-night cycle continues even in cutscenes. So you do not get a single break from the day-night cycle, except inside towns. Once you're in town, that's the only time and place that the day-night cycle stops. I'm gonna grab this full heal and mosey on over. So the gimmick of this labyrinth is magnetism. At the bottom of this elevator, we will come across a red platform and a blue platform. The red one is to the left, the blue is to the right. And depending on what color you are, the enemies will behave a little bit differently. So we're gonna go over here. Pick up a red coloration, which I think of as the positive charge. I'm gonna attract this negative key holder. What a horrible night to have a curse. Indeed. Da-ba-dee-da-ba-da. And again, if anyone has any questions about the run, feel free to ask. I'm more than willing to answer. And it's good practice for when I show off this game at GDQX in 2 weeks. Oh yeah, by the way, I'm running this game at GDQX in 2 weeks. So that's pretty cool. I am taking damage here on purpose, because I want to be at a half heart at the end of this room, in order to pull off the Storm Puff skip. which functions much the same way as Squid Underflow, but has a slightly different function. It will allow us to warp back to the beginning of the room without having to listen to the squid or the genie dialogue at all. Also, those quick drop downs that I did on the first 2 times there just now with the key holder is actually something that TAS does not do, and I don't know why. So TAS is imperfect, if anyone wants to go back and rework it a bit. Big shoutouts to Grandpa Glasses and Esco, though, for those strats. So right here, we're going to talk to the genie and walk into the Storm Puff. We're going to use an extra candy as soon as we get out of there. And that's it. We now have our next transformation dance. Just like that. Grab 20 more gems. We are going to be using them to purchase fireballs later on. And now we can turn into an elephant, which will allow us to charge and smash these stalagmites and stalactites. Clear the way a bit. This guy is RNG. If he jumps towards you, that's good RNG, but if he doesn't, then you have to kind of chase him around a little bit. How does Mankey fly off wall? Well, you press the jump button and hold away from the wall. Also, I totally forgot, but I was supposed to damage boost through some of those enemies back there. We want to be at as low health as possible right after we defeat the boss. So I'm actually going to take a hit right here. On purpose. Actually, a couple of hits. Ooh, I thought I soft locked there for a second. It is possible to soft lock. Oh, well, there's proof, I guess. Shoot. Alright, so here's the funny thing. I set up 2 save files for 2 other soft lock points. And this was not one of them. So, heck. I'm gonna have to, see what kind of backup I can do for this. Wow. I wasn't expecting that. I think file 3 is gonna be closest. Unfortunately, that means I'm all the way back at Oasis Town. This also means that I have... Yeah, I've done everything in town, so I'm just gonna have to do the lab over again. Fortunately, my current pace allows for this. Also, since it is daytime, I can use these guys to make it a little bit safer on me. So it's okay. We Gucci. Fear thee not. Alright, so once again, we have plenty of time for questions as we get back up to the spot where I died. And see, this is exactly why I set up save, backup saves. And now I'm very glad I did. The unfortunate thing, though, is that now the night cycle later on is going to be very tight to get. Because it's already daytime. I think that softlock has only happened to me 1 or 2 times before. So yeah, that's just really unfortunate. Once again, it's marathon luck, you know. Alright, another damageless Min's Desert. We're going to talk to Wrench once again. That is so weird, man. So weird. I guess I'll talk a little bit about the run's history, and a little bit about the last time it was in a GDQ as well. Which was in SGDQ 2014. With... what's his name? Wu Ping Long, I believe? I'll have to double check and make sure that's correct before I actually go to GDQX. But he was the record holder for a hot minute before Vlak SR came on the scene. And if you know anything about Vlak SR, you know he's pretty heckin' godly at pocket platformers. So the old record is actually currently third place, which was record for a little while, is currently 1 hour 11 minutes. Vlak SR took that down to 1:10:36. And to the layman, it makes absolute sense that the run didn't look like it'd go below 109 pace. And for a while that was true. However, I was able to grind it out for a while, and I eventually hit the 109. And then I hit the 108. And then I discovered a way to incorporate the formerly TAS-only strats of Squid Underflow and Genie cutscene skips. And so currently my record is a 107:36, exactly 3 minutes faster than Vlak SR's. The only thing that didn't go perfectly in that run was the boss 3, the lab 3 boss RNG. There we go. That was a little bit smoother. So this time I'm actually going to do everything properly and damage boost through here. And hopefully Magnet Man goes to the right this time. And it'll be like just an alternate dimension that never existed. Called it. Nice. That was a really good fight. Also, we do not want to collect that heart, because that'll waste time later on. Nice random drop. I love how the music gets screwed up by the hit sound. There's an area in Lab 4 that does the same thing, and I absolutely love it for that. So here we go, let's do this correctly this time. There we go. Did the thing. The run continues. So I'd wager we're on 113 pace right now. Also, since we have no magnetism right now, all of the enemies gave us the most favorable outcome. Which is pretty cool. First try! There we go. And we're coming up on our second boss here. If I do this right, didn't quite do it, but you saw it disappear for a second. If you do it just right, that elevator will despawn and save you a few seconds. And now we're just gonna have a quick rush on over to the boss area. And here we go. This is the hardest boss in the game, so get some bless RNGs out for me, please. I gotta focus. It's so tough, man. I don't know if I can do this. Whew. That was close. First try. Okay, so that boss is literally just a stun lock boss. You can just mash and kill him. It's pretty cool. So at this point, we're gonna go ahead and pretend that our warp marker is still in Watertown, which it is not. However, on this particular backup file, I collected all the warp squids with Squid Underflow, and then trekked back to Watertown and put warp squids in Watertown, so I can just use the dens to get back to the proper town for this trick. So it'll be basically the same as if I had done the Death Warp trick properly. See, no harm, no foul. Unfortunately, we are just barely too slow for the early cycle here, which kind of sucks. But I'll try to show off the speedy platforming as best I can. And who knows, maybe we still have a little bit of time to get this strat. So for those who don't know, I'm currently heading to a place called Zombie Caravan. Let's see if I can get this. Oh yeah, easy. And Zombie Caravan only appears in the nighttime. So if I don't get there during the night, I have to wait a full 2 minutes and 18 seconds for the nighttime to roll around again before I can enter town. So, you might have to get ready to wait. Which might cause me to go over estimate, but that's fine. And lesson learned here, honestly. I'm just gonna be very careful in the future with my key collection. Because this happening at GDQX is highly unacceptable. At least I do have a solution for it. Heck, the estimate. Dang, them's fighting words. Also, if you want to see this room in particular done really, really well, I highly recommend checking out Black SR's run. It's pretty much the time it takes me to get through here is exactly how much time that I save over him skipping the dialogue faster. So it's kind of like a quid pro quo. And actually, we may or may not be in time right now to still get the early cycle. But we'll have to see. Okay, that killed it. Woo! Whoa, lads. Alright. So it looks like we're gonna have one more break in the run. If you guys need to get up, stretch, etc. How's it going, Kara? Hopefully better than my run right now. And granted, this is what I get for not doing a proper D-Rest stream, I guess. So if anyone is a Prime user, can we get a Fort Bush in chat? Because that's Shantae right now. We're just gonna kick back, relax, and enjoy the music. Maybe I should think of something that I can talk about if this happens in a marathon run, because this is new to me. I've never actually had to wait here. Got about 1 more minute here. Kind of mess with the music here a bit. I guess this would be a good time for donations at GDQX, honestly. So I might not even need to think of anything to say here. But yeah, long story short, this ain't happening at GDQ, let me promise you that. Hey, Fizzy. We can't go right now. We have about 30 more seconds here. Yeah, and these guys are invincible, by the way. Get ready. There we go. Moving on. And here we have it. That's not where we want to go. Ah, heck. This is the best song in the game. You'll only get to hear it for a couple seconds, unfortunately. So here we're going to pick up 2 packs of fireballs. That will help us out a lot in Lab 3 and the final boss fights. And then we're going to talk with Roddy Tops, who knows a little thing or two about the Simmerstone. They sure are. Elnotrovis. I don't know how to pronounce your name, I apologize. But I concur wholeheartedly. So now, Roddy Tops it challenges to a bit of a race here. We have to make sure we don't hit anything after the first half of the run. The literal run. Up, down, up, up. Because if you fail once past the halfway mark, you have no chance of catching up. It's a pretty brutal race. Took me about 10 tries, casually. Down, up, down, down, down. Yes, it does. Up, down, up, down. Many a PB has been choked by me and others to this area. Down, up, down. Up. Here we have it. Easy every time. Once again, that is a big run killer. And you can't just start that race over either. You have to finish it in order to try again. Alright, so at this point we are back on track. Unfortunately, the day-night cycle is no longer crucial to our progression. So from here on out, it doesn't matter if it's daytime or nighttime. Good RNG right there. Now coming up is Lab 3, which is easily one of the most broken areas of the entire game. For a few reasons, and I'll show you exactly why once I get there. Ooh, spooky. So Reddit Hobbs is gonna use her leg to open our door here. She's gonna explain to us how to avoid the creatures in the shadows. And we're getting started. So Lab 3's gimmick is kind of spookiness. Oh yeah, we need that warning skeletons graphic, if we have it, because there are skeletons. Very spooky. So sorry, yeah, I didn't give you my skeleton warning. So this right here is supposed to trap you in the bottom area of the labyrinth. And you're supposed to do a bunch of puzzles and gimmicks and stuff in order to get out. However, all we have to do is grab one key, just like this, and use an exit candy. That will allow us to skip about a third of the entire labyrinth, all in one fell swoop. So now that we have one extra key, we can go to the left and unlock this door. Pretty nifty. This is a really cool looking room if you do it right. So far so good. Nice. There's a frame perfect trick here that Esco discovered. I was a little too early for it. Ooh, a little too late for it. But if you hit it right in the pocket there, just like that, you can skip all of that frustration. These eyeball puzzles are absolutely horrendous casually. And they are still pretty bad in RTA runs of this game. So once again, we're going to start damage boosting through all these spikes. If you want to get through here damageless as Monkey, you just have to short hop and then long hop all the way over to this eyeball. However, since Stormpuff skips are now a thing, we actually do need to be at a half heart by the time we reach the genie cutscene. Ooh, we missed it. That's really bad. There we go. Well, it could have been a lot worse. It could have not landed on that pedestal, and we would have probably had to reset the room if that happened. But we're good, and we continue. Once more, I'm gonna go ahead and save a little health right there, and use it to get hit by this boss, or this mini-boss of sorts. There we go. We're just gonna stand here and let her die. Hey, boys has gotcha. What a homie. So here's a bit of an unusual thing in this game, which is an actual mini-boss that has its own music. This is the only time you hear this music in the entire game. And it's kind of weird. This boss is very out of place as compared to the rest of the game and how it works. So we got in 4 early hits there. Normally you would have 16 heads to kill, but this way you only have 12. I'm gonna get hit right here, and we are now at the proper amount of health to do our next Storm Puff skip. Which we get right here to do, and press and walk in. Now we just head on over here. Wrong button. We dance a little. You're invincible while you're actually transforming, which is pretty cool. There we go. Now, a lot of the areas that you're supposed to use Spider in, like that one right there with all the webs on the wall, you can actually skip with Monkey, which is pretty cool. Also, that was first try right there, getting in that one tile gap. That is almost impossible. So let's hear it for Marathon luck once again. Good or bad? Okay, we've got that. So we're gonna switch back to Exit Candies and use one as the key drops on top of us. And with that, we can head right on into the boss room. This boss is what killed sub 107 in my PB and gave me 107.36 instead. That and very slightly sloppy execution other places. But overall, this is like the main reason I don't have sub 107 right now. Wrong dance. One really nice thing is that you can cancel dances with the same button, select, if you realize you're doing the wrong dance and you need to fix that melody. So here's the other place where I safety saved in case of soft locks. This boss has only soft locked on me one time before. And we are now past the soft lock point, so that's good. Oh, and we're getting the quick kill. And look at that. We're getting perfect luck. So we get to drop him down each pit twice. He's now guaranteed to be quick killed, by the way. These buttons have a timer on them, and if you hit them early enough, then they're guaranteed to activate twice and allow you to drop him in the pit. So yeah, that's the fight I could have really used in my PB, but unfortunately I did not get it in my PB. But at least I got to show it off for you guys. For some reason, this stone takes a lot longer to drop down, so I have to wait a little bit before jumping up to grab it. But that's it. That's the Lab 3 boss. So at this point, I'm gonna go ahead and warp back to Oasis Town after Roddy Top stops talking to me. So coming up is some of the strangest and most challenging tricks in the game. Here we go. Down, up, right, right, B, A, and we're off. Gonna go ahead and damage boost a couple of times through the mud bog, which is a really nasty area. I'm actually going to save a little bit of health right here for marathon safety purposes. So there's no point, since we're not on PB pace, to go fast at the risk of losing a life. That's monkey. That's elephant. And now we become monkey. Mud Bog is easily one of the scariest areas in the game for me. It's part of my top 3 because of these bridges. And if you're not absolutely sure of where all the pieces are, then you have a chance to just fall in the pit and die and have to do the entire area over again. But we are good now. Bingo. So now we're at the base of Mount Pointy. Coming up is a skip that was discovered in SGDQ 2014 during practice, actually, which is Spider Skip right here. Literally free. Saves 10 seconds. Unfortunately, I just had to go and discover reverse Spider Skip, which is a lot riskier and saves about the same amount of time. Actually, a little bit less time. Come to think of it, I don't even know why I do it at all, because it saves like 3 seconds and it costs 15 if you miss it. Or more. But I'll do it anyway, to show it off for you guys. I do have the lives to spare, just in case I miss it once or twice. There it is. It's that simple. So yeah, you need just enough momentum to carry yourself over, but not so much that you hit the spikes, either on the left or the right. Addicted to speed. Me IRL right there, dude. 100%. It's okay though, we are very close to our final labyrinth. Yes, Kara, they are. Unfortunately. However, they are not RNG, which is nice. Can't say the same for these, Jack Frost fellas, unfortunately. Because they like to screw you over, just like that. They can wait for as long as they want, and they can either choose to walk or jump. The wolves that they turn into at night are actually even worse, because they can, run at you at full speed, which really screws you up. So this mysterious genie, guardian of the bandit town that we just visited, is allowing us to enter the final labyrinth. We're not quite sure exactly who she is, but she seems friendly enough. Right? Right? Shouldn't be a problem. I actually feel deep shame, even to this day, that I did not know who that quote-unquote genie was until I beat Lab 4. So I was basically literally Shantae in that situation. Ooh, didn't get it. Nice. Wow. Jump over the pit. You don't have to jump right there, but it's really scary if you don't. All you have to do is hold left and it works, but still. I'll kill you for safety. You ever just kill something for safety? So right here, the game introduces these warpers. They're supposed to be a bit of a puzzle, but we can just skip the puzzle by turning into Monkey and climbing up the wall. So that's pretty cool. One more quick fight here. This ice roulette is a predetermined pattern. And there is actually an optimal creature to roll. There we go. Which is the golem, the stone golem. Because they die in 5 hit points, which is exactly how much the elephant headbutt delivers. Oh, and I fell down here. Okay, I may as well collect the one up that's down here while I transform again. There we go. So yeah, the golem is easiest because it does not have a chance of just straight up hitting you out of the gate, which the other ones do. And some of the other ones also have more hit points, which is not favorable. I'm going to start damage boosting again in preparation for my next Storm Puff skip. Right here you can kind of cheese this one as well by jumping to the first warper. Okay, and we're at a good amount of health now. Alright, Drex, I'll see you around. Oh, really quick, Drex, before you go, unless you're gone already, will you be at... You will be at TwitchCon, right? Will you be there Saturday? Because I want to meet up with you, if possible. Since you are a cool amigo, in my humble opinion. Okay, so right here I'm gonna get hurt on purpose on this golem, which I'm going to accomplish by headbutting once instead of twice. Perfect. And now I'm all set. Nandayo, is this copy pasta? And... kabingy. We actually have to wait for our invincibility frames to wear off before we can warp through. And now we are able to use Harpy to get out of here. Harpy is our final transformation dance. You beat there all 3 days? Okay, awesome. Alright, Trix. We'll see about that for sure. So Harpy has a few flaws in its design. It is manageable, but it's pretty rough to deal with, especially as a newcomer to the game. Well, we got terrible RNG there. All 3 had to be hit. Alright, so if those of you out there are curious what this is and you haven't seen the run before, this is a bit of a wall clip that you can do with the spider transformation. It's been theorized that without this clip, it might be possible to skip all of the spider transformations. But this clip is absolutely necessary as the run stands now because it saves a lot of time. We just use Monkey to get into that one tile gap that they forgot to block from transformation. We morph back into Shantae, become a spider, run to the left, become Shantae, run to the left. This slowly pushes us into the right wall. And then once we're far enough to the right, we can become a Harpy and fly out of bounds. To get back in, we just become Monkey, run to the right, become Monkey again, and hop the heck out of there. If I do this correctly, we will become Cyborg Shantae for a moment, which is pretty cool. And are any of you here familiar with the arcade game Joust? If you are not, then shame on you, go play Joust. It's a really good game. But if you are, then this is basically Joust. I have to wait for the camera to scroll over and then dance. There we go. The way that Harpy works is that you cannot change your direction in midair unless you flap. So what I'm doing here after hitting him every time is flapping once to regain horizontal momentum control. And that's just for safety, so I make sure I don't fall off of him. Oops, a little early there. Alright, one more round of that, and then we are good to go. Woo! And make sure we get the little guy. And there we go. Fourth stone get. So at this point, we've collected all 4 stones, right? We saved the world. That's it. GG. Game over. Oh, heck. It turns out we've been helping Risky Boots this entire time. So she makes off with the stones and prepares her ultimate weapon. At this point, we have no choice but to follow her. Erg, merg, free! And she says, Mimic will know what to do, I'd better head back to Scuttletown. But we're gonna warp to Oasis Town, because that's how we actually progress the plot. This, strangely enough, is where a lot of people get stuck. Because the clues that you have to pick up in Scuttletown and the surrounding areas are very, very, very vague. So it becomes more of a scavenger hunt to figure out where you need to go, which is right up here, where the spy scope is. So we're going to use it to locate Risky Boots, and it's going to transport us there. Whereupon we shall begin the final level of our adventure. I mean, to be fair, Inotovis, Shantae's a half genie, not a mind reader, so. Although, fair enough, I suppose it would benefit her to memorize Risky Boots' facial features to start with. So, we're almost finished with Hitbox Alleyway. There we go. And, here on Pirate Island, we actually have a bunch of strats that are not intended, so it's very possible to either die or soft lock or otherwise fail or incur lag or drop inputs where we don't want to. Alright, those guys right there are RNG. If they're walking toward you, you have to back up a little bit, which is a little slow. Alright, so these pinball segments actually have some strats to them, which works about 70% of the time, I want to say. And now we need your Bless RNGs. Go ahead and pull out all of your Bless RNGs right here, right now on Diners, Drive-Ins, and Dives while I traverse this area. You're supposed to use Spider for this wall of spikes, but it's faster to do it with Harpy. There we go, first try. However, it's very easy to drop inputs in that area because there's a lot of lag. So we actually just lucked out big time. So here's the second cannonball strat, and it looks like we got it. Let's go. So this was an almost flawless Pirate Island. If I hadn't gotten hit earlier on, that would have been excellent. However, as it stands, we're going to go ahead and mosey on through to the exposition hall, wherein Risky Boots does that good old Chapter 19 Hardy Boys thing of exposing her entire plot right before she intends to kill you. We're gonna walk into her for good luck and fall through the floor, and off we go. I love that so much. Alright, so the Tinker Tank has some crazy strats for it that save a few cycles, about 20 seconds or more a piece, if you do it right. I have yet to get it in a good run, so if you want to see it done really well, once again, check out Vlak's run. He is an absolute genius at these quick kills. I wasn't able to get that one because I only got one hit in. There's a precise spot that you have to stand in order to make that work as well. If I'd done it right, I'd still have missed 2 quick transforms now. If I'd done that right, I would still have the fireball as the monkey, and I could use the fireballs to greater effect. Unfortunately, we'll have to go for a backup here. I don't think I got the backup either. Oh, I totally did. If I'd realized that, I could have gone for a frame perfect trick that I've actually gotten a few times. That will allow me to oh, that was weird. Transform into monkey during the second of those 2 cutscenes. But that's okay. I'm just gonna do the slow. Which is fine. Just fine. These 2 are nice and easy, so I can show them off for you here. But if I'd done them right, you would have seen them a lot more frequently. So right here I am going to go for a quick strat that I also found myself, which involves using Harpy and flying up as fast as possible and maintaining a good height. And I missed 1 hit. That's really unfortunate. I almost had the quick kill there. So now I'm just gonna have to manually whip 5 times to take care of the rest. So that's about the worst possible Tinker Tank fight one could have gotten. But that's okay. Because we will get a godlike, risky fight. Trust me. Okay. Okay. Godlike risky fight, I say. That's okay, starting now, we're gonna survive this entire rest of the game with 1 health. Trust me. So the trick here is maintaining your distance while still being able to hit her. That's why fireballs are so OP for this fight. Because you can just walk up to her and damage her. If you walk too close to her, because she becomes invincible and, up. Alright, that's fine. And she will start trying to attack you. She's invincible while she's attacking you, which is really unfortunate. Also, if you wait too long before hitting her the next time, she will attack again. Like that. And this fight was also nearly impossible casually before I figured out that crouching extends your hair whip hitbox ever so slightly. Fortunately, if you do die in this fight, it sets you right back where you were. So dying is not that detrimental. Just waste like 5 seconds. So go ahead and get your Shantae Ds ready, because now all we have to do is wait for this sort of auto-scroller where you basically don't get hit if you stay on the right side of the screen the whole time. We've got about 20 more seconds, and time is when the last note of the level clear jingle plays. So it's coming up really soon. I'm gonna say right when it is. And time. So yeah, that is Shantae. GG's. 118 is absolutely horrible, and it's strictly because I soft-locked partway through Lab 2. So I will have to watch for that in GDQX. I think it's a very good thing that it happened here and not with approximately 80,000 more people watching, perhaps more. But it's alright. Really quickly, I'll go through the post-game cutscene here. While she's unconscious from the explosion, Shantae is invited into the genie realm to be offered the chance to become a full genie by her fellow genie folk. However, that means that she won't ever be able to interact with the human world again. And so she declines their gift because she prefers friends over becoming a full-fledged genie. Which is a really sweet moral that I think we can all learn from. And it's really worth it to stick around until the very end here, because the mayor of the town, who hires Shantae to be the town guardian, has perhaps the best/worst one-liner to end off any video game ever, especially one that normally takes you about, like, 12 hours to beat. And it's all for this. I overheard what you were talking about with Mimic. Don't worry, you've saved Skulltown. You're our hero. Really? Yes, absolutely. I don't care if you're half genie or not. You'll always be our champion. Phew. But can I get you for half price? I can't believe Shantae is dead. And roll the credits. So this has been an awesome opportunity to show the game off to you guys. Thank you for your patience and understanding regarding Lab 2 shenanigans. I'm glad I saved that, I set up that save backup save. I just said save like 3 times. But, yeah, that was strange and peculiar. But we made it. I will be sure to grind out this game for GDQX. I want to give out my thanks to everyone running this marathon, Valuethon, the Boiks, everyone involved, Drex, Konasumi, everyone I'm forgetting, which is obviously going to happen, unfortunately. The entire Shantae community. A shout out to Jake Kaufman for creating an amazing soundtrack and launching a wonderful career. Shoutouts to Matt and Aaron Boson for making this game a reality. Shoutouts to just everyone, Tina Hex, Toucan Sham, JT Norimaki, and all the Shantae crew, you know, Amethyst, Trinter R, Esco and Grandpa Glasses for implementing task strats and being amazing. Shoutouts to Vlak, Wuping Long. I just remembered his name is with a Q and not a P. I'm getting to you, Amethyst, don't you worry. Amethyst, you are a cool bean as well. And, really just everyone who I have, come across in the Shantae community. It really is the best game speedrun community that I have ever experienced. So if you're interested in running any Shantae games, I highly recommend it. I implore you to check a game out. Any of them. Pirate's Curse has a lot of good runs. Half Genie Hero is cool. The DS game as well, Risky's Revenge, actually has some pretty interesting categories. Including one that currently has like an 18 or 17 minute world record, any percent, which involves a double frame perfect trick. So if you're into unnecessarily difficult and frame perfect runs, then Risky's Revenge any percent is for you. And of course, if you've been enjoying this run, then feel free to submit your own times. Everyone there is more than willing to share their experiences and help you get along. And there are several routes you can use as well. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and toss it back over to the host, and thank you all for being here. Thank you for your patience and understanding once again, and I will see you all next time. Hopefully next year, and hopefully at GDQX, where I'll be significantly more prepared.